Hello, everyone, and welcome to Krayta. This is the official YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be going through some articles that we found online. So, Alfie, if you want to start us off with the first article you have found.
Right, it's from today's Sunday Telegraph, and it says, "Don't break the rules once you've had the vaccine," and that's from Jonathan Van Tam.
Right.
My
So,
question to that is why?
yeah. The first kind of question that I would ask is, once you've had the vaccine, why would you need to follow the rules? Now, obviously, you need to follow the rules because you don't want to break the law, but why would you have to abide by them if you've had the vaccine? Because surely you're not transmissible if you've had the vaccine.
Yeah, I think the problem is that it's unfair on people who haven't had the chance to have a vaccine yet. But that's why I'm not against the idea of the COVID passports, the vaccine passports. People
Right.
say it's against our rights or whatever. No, it's not. We're in the middle of a global pandemic. The government needs to control the country.
Yeah. Yeah. So you support the passports now. What what would you say is the best kind of route out of this lockdown? Would it be the passports, or what would it be in your opinion?
Oh, it's a tough one because you have to balance the mental health and the number of deaths,
Yeah.
and you can't. There's arguments morally on both sides, but because the vaccine is coming, and because we're rolling out, and because we're world leading in that, I would say just be patient for the next couple of months, at least
Yeah.
until the most vulnerable groups have had it, and then go out, then do what we did outside the first lockdown, the rule of six, stuff like that.
Yeah, that seems fair enough. So the article I've got is by the Telegraph, and it's basically saying schools could remain closed until Easter. Now, Matt Hancock has suggested this. Um, he said that he said returns before then are no more than a hope. What are your thoughts on the schools returning after February half term?
I I honestly, I I think they should,
Yeah,
because
I think they should too.
that we are the future of this country, our generation, and we're in a tough place because we missed the end of our GCSEs and the start of our A levels.
Yeah,
So we're having gaps, and whereas we may well be average, it will set out across our year, so everyone will be even, but compared to other years, we'll be behind them.
yeah, and other years will have um, such an advantage when it's going to university. So, for example, when people do gap years, um, there's going to be like an influx of people that have actually done their GCSEs and A levels, whereas someone like me, if I was to take a gap year, would be competing with them, even though I've had
Yeah,
A level gaps.
yeah,
So I think schools should return, and I think that they are largely safe for the pupils and students, as for the pupils and the teachers, as the government say. I don't think there's any reason to doubt that. But
yeah, exactly. And
yeah,
the teachers that are vulnerable will get the vaccine first anyway.
yeah, exactly. It's not like the teachers are not getting the vaccine. So I think it's just the teachers' unions basically just opposing the government because they're against
Because
the
they're
government.
conservative.
Yeah, yeah. So what is your last article that you found?
um, Mail on Sunday, and it's basically we can jab all teachers in the February half term to help get the schools back. So it links into this one.
Yeah,
But again, my question is why?
yeah,
Because the vulnerable teachers will get the vaccine first anyway.
yeah. And I posed this question to an MP that I emailed, Matt Weston, and I said how many teachers had died as a result of catching the virus in school and then dying from catching the virus. And he didn't give me an answer at all. He didn't even acknowledge that that was a question. So he's kind of just dodged that. And I don't think anyone really knows. But yeah, teachers, they like to moan a lot. That's what I've kind of gathered. So my last
what I would say,
yeah.
what I would say is, if this was a Labour government and the teachers' unions had a say in it, they wouldn't be moaning as much as they are now.
No, they wouldn't.
They're taking opposition to a new level. They're not. It doesn't matter the results of their actions. They're just going against what the Conservative Party say.
Yeah, it's all Conservative hatred. And talking about Conservative hatred, we got Nicola Sturgeon. She brands Boris Johnson a coward as she threatens to hold a Scottish independence referendum without his permission. So, what are your thoughts on the Scottish referendum? Another one.
They voted no.
Yeah, they voted no once already.
And if they do this, they're just gonna. I don't know if you remember, but a couple of years ago in Catalonia,
oh yeah,
they went against the government and had a referendum, and that was with 90% of people wanting to leave Spain.
Wow.
Here it's near 50-50. So if they were divided over there, imagine the state of what it would be over here.
Yeah, it's Nicola Sturgeon and the SNP they literally hate the United Kingdom as one nation, because I don't know why they would hate us. I don't know the history behind it, but
I don't understand how they can't see that they are much better off with us, just as we're much better off with them.
Yeah, and they want to join Europe as well. They want this independence from the UK, and then they want to go and join Europe to be controlled by people in Europe.
But the fact is, what annoyed me is, fair enough if we had left and 5 years later they're saying this. They're saying this before we leave and before we see the benefits of what leaving will do for us. It doesn't matter what will happen. They'll want to do that anyway. They're so close-minded, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and Nicola Sturgeon as a leader, I mean, Scotland are low on the vaccines. Have you seen that? They are the lowest kind of denomination of the United Kingdom. They're not performing well at all. Northern Ireland are doing better than them, I think, and Wales are doing better than them. I don't get why the English can't have their own parliament. I know England is kind of the main section within this UK country, but when people start to say, when English people start to say, what about we want an English parliament to decide what happens on England? The Scots and Welsh, they're completely opposed to that. I don't know why.
The other thing with Nicola Sturgeon and the SNP since the pandemic started, they listen to what Boris is going to say after them. They just come out 2 hours earlier, say what Boris is going to say, then spin it to make it look like everything's their idea. It's not.
Yeah.
They can't do anything without the permission of Westminster on a grand scale.
Yeah, and to hold a referendum against the permission of...
I never knew that generations were 6 years each.
No.
For the once in a generation vote. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's like having the Brexit vote again. Like that entire saga is...
Yeah, exactly. And they campaigned for EU nationals to be able to vote in the Brexit referendum, but won't allow English people to vote in the Scottish referendum, even though Scotland and Wales and Northern Ireland, even though Scotland leaving the UK will have an effect on all of us.
Yeah.
So either do both or don't campaign for just... You can't campaign for just one. Either allow both EU to vote in Brexit and England to vote in Scotland, or do neither. Yeah. Westminster have set the precedent of neither, so that's neither for both.
the SNP. If you see Ian Blackford, he's just in Parliament for the purpose of opposing the government on whatever they do. If you see his comments, and wasn't he the one that broke the lockdown rules as well?
I believe so. It's just the same speech every time he stands up.
Yeah,
The
independent.
same block of paper, the same words, just mixing up the words a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So that's all the articles we have for today. I hope you enjoyed, and this will be going onto our socials. So yeah.